Hey, welcome back to the channel. So, let's get into a new reading. This reading's going to be about mermaid spirit or mermaids in a way that it's like, how does mermaid spirit, how does the energy of mermaid affect us or our lives? Is it affecting everybody? Is it something that's just in the spirit that, is ordained from God's energy? Or is it something that we need to be aware of on a deeper level? You might have heard, in Africa, they use the term mami water and, deity energy in regards to that. I just want to explore it and see how it affects us through our star signs, through the energy of the universe, and through the energy of God. Let's have a look and let's dive in and see what's going on and if it's affecting us, in the times we are speaking of today now. Let's dive in and see what's going on. So it says water spirit energy is not something that we believe in all the time in the energies as a whole on a surface level as people. However, it says no one's going to speak about this more than you or your loved ones. Ideally, if you're in cultural ethnicities. So if you're in cultural ethnicities or in folklore, you will speak of things that will come to you or guide you in that way. Says karma can come to people sometimes in this way too, with people preying on people to have mermaid spirit bother them. It says, no wonder you speak so well of it. My word would come to pass. Ideally, my word will come to pass. And it does say that someone here could be breathing light on your echoes or your energy through the mermaid-like spirit. This could be someone that's looking at you right now today. For some of you guys that are dealing with this energy, some of you guys are warned not to look at it. Some of you guys are warned to look at it. And some of you guys are really embellished in this energy without your control. So it says it's not really bad for us to look at it on a whole. However, it says it might punish you through your mindsets. For some of you that do know that you are using it for witchcraft, you are using it to punish energies, and you are used as a weapon to beat others with this energy too. However, it says there's a deep-seated enemy energy lurking around the mindset today, using a spiritual energy that's similar to a snake-like energy that could also be passed for a water spirit type energy. And it is a demonic energy that's not going to be easy to shift or pass away. Some people in Ghana or Africa or native lands of Africa like Nigeria, maybe even Togo, or even other places in the African community could absolutely defend what it is that we are speaking about here today on this channel. However, it says it's not going to be easy to decipher everything because trolling the energies today is someone that wants to know that they are bad to you all. Okay, and it doesn't say that it's a good outcome for you all. So it says leave the spirit alone in the opinion of the man or woman that wants to know that they're using it on you, because they know that they don't want to know that it's going to be troubled away from you. They want to be able to use it on you, and you sit down and believe you me is what somebody would like to say. They are using it on this person as well that is saying believe you me. They are using it on them to bite them, to traumatize them, to beat them down, to abuse them, to laugh at them, to throw acid in their face, whether that's physically, mentally, or metaphorically speaking. Okay, this is something that happens even in the next year or two if it's not going to stop. It says there's a burden with this spirit right now. It doesn't say that it's always going to be good or bad to you, but there's a burden with it. And ideally, if someone is using witchcraft to punish others with it. But it says, other than that, it says many times over, you will see things in the way that you want to directly down the wrong road or the right road with this energy. Because it says it's an energy that's ordained from God. And it doesn't say that it's a bad energy. However, there is real life mermaids in the sea. There is real life water spirit sirens in the sea. And there is real life water spirits in the sea. After all, spirits die out in the sea. And there are mermaids that do die in the sea and they become water spirits. Okay. They do not have to speak about anything that goes on. They don't have to speak about anything that goes wrong. They do know they're used many times over for spiritual essence. They do know that they used a lot for spiritual essence in the waters of dogma. People that know that they are there. People that have seen these energies in the water and know that they could be used as a spirit to guide other people's spirits on the planet that are on the land. It says every day we wonder, we wonder, we wonder. Hence why the news has to cover up certain things, or even people in the lands of Ghana, Africa, maybe even, Togolese, maybe even other countries that are African. Madagascar could be one of them. Anywhere in Africa, let's just say that, because there is troubling energies today that are really punishing you all to try and not speak about it and want to punish you to try and harm you, okay? And it doesn't say it's everybody, but it's those that tap into the mindsets of your mind. Ideally, things that you may have going on in the world, and you're trying to prosper, or you're not trying to prosper that hard, but you still feel like something's going on around you where siege energy is there. Like, I'm taking a siege in your life and I'm trying to punish it. Okay. It doesn't say that it's always going to be that way for some of you. So just watch out for who's who and who's doing magical energies in your life. And if you can't see it, just pray. If you feel like something's wrong, pray. If you feel like something's bad, pray. If you feel like there's something that's going on around you, just pray. Ask Spirit to guide you and protect you away from these burdens and these problems, okay? It says no one's going to use the animal energy any more than they have to. They use snakes at times too. So warning, if we do a python reading, just watch out, because there is snakes. And there is snakes, and there is snakes, and there is snakes. These are also water spiritual creatures or water spiritual beings. It doesn't say that it's going to be a mermaid spirit directly, but some people use that energy in Mami water to say that it is a snake, okay? So we're just going to use that for reference right now in this reading, and then see what's going on in the later on years to come. Okay, with the mermaid energy, with the snake light energy, and with the spiritual energy that comes to us in other ways, okay? Now, as we see our ancestors, it says it's dark energy that we use over in spiritual areas of Africa, because it doesn't say that everybody wants to know that it's going to be used in Ghana, Togo, maybe even other places that could, punish people. But it says a lot of the time, Ghana's energy keeps coming up in the readings because there is spiritual witchcraft going on heavy in Ghana right now. Heavier than any other African country. It's very dark. And it's very spiritual that we see into Ghana directly as of what's going on in that country, as a land. It says no one knows why we even want to speak of it, because sometimes karma can come to us in that way, but we want to know, is it going to affect us? Is it going to be blessings, or is it going to be cursed? It says no one knows why Ghana is going under, or even making people feel like they're going to go under. Not every single Ghanaian is making people feel this way, i.e. I leave it there. Okay, not every single person in Ghana is putting spells, curses, witchcraft, and all kinds of demons on people. Okay, they are not. But there is one or two types of people, or ideally in certain areas of Ghana or in the communities of Ghana, certain people that are. Okay, whether these people are doing witchcraft to harm others, or they are doing witchcraft that is personal. Now, if it's people that are doing personal witchcraft and they're not harming anybody, we are not talking about them. Okay, we leave that out of it. All right, we absolutely leave that energy out of it completely. It's not our business. Okay, but if there is people out there doing witchcraft on others and it's harming us, or we feel the energies around us through friends, family members, or people that are coming to us, even pastors, preachers, okay, or even churches, or things that we do enjoy, and we know that we want to go there, and we see that there's energies there that are dark, or there's something not right, we are entitled to know these things. So we warn ourselves to move forward and see what's going on, okay? Because we need to protect ourselves, and we need to know that we are safe moving forward. We are not hexed. We are not burdened. We are not ill will. We are not karma. We are not problematic. We don't have drama in our heads. We don't have drugs used on us or problems with people on their drugs. Ideally, it could be even dope or, dopamine, maybe even just the energy, adrenaline, whatever it is inside the gut, inside the feeling, whatever trance it is, whatever energy from spirit it is that they're on. Okay, using themselves to go into transit states. Okay, metaphorically speaking, mindful mind games, or even noticing that they're using things indirectly in their minds and they don't even know why they're going into these states of mind. Okay, they may even be troubled about what it is that they do with their outer laws and their inner laws. Okay, or their true agendas may be hints or hensed in some type of way with other people's spirits. Okay, it says it's not going to be easy to decipher all the time what's going on with these people. Folklore always has something to do with it in someone's opinion, but not everybody's. Okay, so it says someone here wants you to know that you will go under one day, but it says it's not going to be easy to bring you down. Nor is it going to be better to bring you down and then try and get you out of it, because you won't come out of it so easy. So hold on to your God. Hold on to Jesus. Hold on to spirit. Hold on to Allah. Hold on to whoever your faith is. The strength will deal with the problem. Okay, you holding on to God, the strength will deal with the problem. Okay, it says no one's gonna bring you under like the way evil spirits in Ghana, the ones that are doing witchcraft on people that are bad news, giving people bad news, are warning that they're going to have problems one day. It's going to affect them. And it says anyone that knows that they're doing it in other countries, ideally like Togolese, it keeps coming up, maybe even New Orleans for some people, or even places around the world where they're doing really, really wicked witchcraft. Okay, there's many countries. Indonesia is one of them. Okay, Philippines is also one of them. Okay, there is Santeria in places like Brazil, okay, that is doing witchcraft, or maybe even in the Middle East. Okay, maybe even in India. Okay, there's also other countries around the world, Spanish speaking countries and other countries. There's many countries. We can't just stop there. There's many different ones. We can't speak of them all here. All right, but it says a lot of them are doing witchcraft around the world, and it says there's a hence why. And this drama to do with a Bermuda Triangle could come into the situation as well, hence why we are talking about water spirits, mermaids and stuff like that. Okay, so it says really and truly whatever's going on in the universe and is bringing us to light about the death wishes that we want for our souls, we don't necessarily feel like it's going to be warned that we're the ones that wanting it. Ideally, if you ever felt like you wanted to pass out or die, people that want to know they can kill themselves, jump off a roof, pop some pills, harm themselves, hang themselves, do any kind of, evil spirited stuff that come to their mind. It says witchcraft was working in your family for a long time. Many of you. You may not know it. You may not even believe it for some of you, but there's witchcraft there. And it says some of you guys don't realize it could be worked on through godlike spirited people that think they're godlike spirited people, and they're not. They are fakes. Yeah, they're Satan's room. It's like God has opened up a way for them to come into the church and pray for them and hope they would heal and get all the nonsense out, but they can't do it. So they turn back to Satan and start cursing people behind the scenes and still trying to pray to God, but they just don't know how to shift the energy from bad to good. Okay? It says this is a secret affair going on in the churches. Also in religious communities with religious backgrounds, okay? Mainly in churches or even temples, spiritual temples, maybe wherever you go and pray, maybe even a mosque, or maybe even, you could be Buddhism, or you could be some type of other religion, and there's people that go there believing that they are good, they are saints, and they are not saints, okay? They believe that they could always be holier than thou, and they're not that. Or they know that they want to change and they've been working on this for years and years and years, but they can't change. Okay, it says, do you know that these effing warlock energies keep playing in the mind of somebody or someone around you? It says many times over, people keep challenging this energy to move on, go away, stop bothering whoever it is that they're bothering. But it says it can't stop that easy. Someone's going to get hurt if they don't stop these energies and make sure that they move on. Okay, these energies need to move on because they're not allowed to come and bother you. All right, they will be punished. They will be practicing bad, washed out, mindfully speaking, bad, washed out magic. Okay, but they won't be practicing good news magic to harm people in a way that it's like they believe the magical spells that they are doing, right, are going to be good for people, but they don't believe it's going to be good for you to believe it's good for you. It's like in their room, oh, it's going to be good for them because they're going to get hurt. That's the way I like it. But it doesn't work in their favor the way they do their rituals, okay? Because these people that hold on to God's spirit, it just washes it out, okay? It uses the demonic spirits that are there in their realm to trouble them instead of you, that are punished by the wrath of your angels, which they believe can be bad because these spirits can be fallen angels or they could be dark spirited angels hanging on to God. It says not all of them are bad. Some of them are very, very good. And some of them will teach a lesson to the bad angels to run a mile. Hence why they drop and fall and they are fallen angels. Okay? They're not all going to be bad. But it says all this time a surge is built around God to protect God. And either way, you need to seek the kingdom of God to hear and help yourself around the situation. So always ask for God. Always seek the kingdom of God. And always pray to God. Always go to God and allow yourself to be good to God. Okay? Never see yourself as bad. Always see yourself as good to God. Even if you knew that you were bad in the past, even if there was just an inkling of things you were doing wrong and you were spiraling out of control, because it could be a legacy of something that you don't understand. It may not absolutely be your fault. It may not be even in your spirit. It may not really be your true essence, but your guiding light system, whoever they are in your family or maybe around you in your community, was pushing you down a dark road and you didn't know how to control it or handle the situation. So you had to pull yourself together later on, or maybe someone had to pull you out of it and, slap some common sense into your head and remind you who you are as an angel, as a saint of God. Okay? You are not a bad being. You are saint of God. You are sent good news person. Okay? A saint good news person. You may not see yourself as a bad news person anyway. You may not believe that you're a bad news person. You may not even have strong faith for some of you guys, and you want to know that your faith is stronger. Even though you do know you believe in God, it's like too many people have riddled you or have put nonsense into your head or made you feel other injustifications around you, but you always knew that you weren't bad. You just knew that something needed to click or transpire one day to take you out of a problem. It says these evil debts to society will not bother you anymore. You are living free in the kingdom of God. God has got your back. Through the jail cells, no more. Through the heavenly gates, yes. Okay? Not through those demonic gates that you have to go through in the jail cell. You are living through heaven's gates, okay? That is your siege. That is your energy. That is your prayer station. That is your mindset. That is your business. That is your work of art. That is whoever you are in the highest of the high, in the heavenly realms. You are allowed to enter those kingdoms of God. Okay, the kingdoms, because there's not one or two, there's 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, but guess what? There's a main one. Before you get to the main one, you have to enter the kingdom, which will lead you into rooms of different little kingdoms that are surrounded by the big, mighty force of God, which is the heavenly force of God's kingdom. That's where God really resides, okay? It's like little mansions that surround a big mansion, like a big, big mansion, okay? You are a part of that committee. You are a part of that land, okay? You're a part of that community, okay? You're in a gated community that is specifically in the angelic realm, okay? You are absolutely brilliant and magnificent and absolutely worthy of being there. So don't ever let anybody tell you that you are not. You are of the highest, of the highest, of the highest, of the highest, of the highest. And let us not go on and on and on, because we can't tell you how high you are. You are of the highest, okay? In excelsis Deo, you are of the highest. All right? There is no end. So it says, all this time, believe in yourself, have confidence. I am there with you. I am God. Okay? With it if you want to, because spiritual energy sometimes can make you cry, especially when you've gone through so much. Some of you guys may feel like crying when you go to church. Some of you guys may feel like, oh my gosh, I'm doomed. What the hell's going on with me? No, keep your faith. Hold on to God. Don't let anybody tear you away from the man upstairs, the woman upstairs, okay? The kingdom of God. Don't ever leave, all right? So, It says, all this time, spiritual angels will be there to guide you and protect you in this energy of siege. Because there's a siege energy right now around the angel energy, which is guiding you to see things that you shouldn't even look into, really. Because there's a spiritual angel around the mermaid spirit. Okay, this mermaid spirit is not really a bad energy to look at. It's not really something that we want to ordain in the kingdom of God, though. Energies there are not dark or evil. Angels can surround mermaid spirit. Why? Because many of them are demonic at times when there is trouble. Why do we put them in the wild? They are fighters. They are beasts. Okay, they have to be beasts, and we dominion over the beast of the land, including the waters and the sea. Okay, as humans, we are the ones that are looking into these things over and over again to make sure that we are protected and we're not going to be harmed or hurt in any way. Okay, so we do look at these things and we wonder what's going on down there or up there, and why are these spirits being used as a way to punish us or give us good news, good fortune. It says only in a wavelength of the mindset, because there is demonic spirits that will warn you that nothing is set in stone. People can come and use them in any form or wish that they want to. Hence why people use lions at times too, or even dragons. Okay, that's one of them. Lions and dragons. Mermaids is one of them. These spirits are going to be essence, or snakes. Okay, and snakes or lizards. These and birds. These spirits are going to be essence of whatever it is that you want to see. Okay, it says karma comes to whoever that made up these folklores, because there is folklore spirits that are attached to these energies. It's not necessary that you have to look into it in a direct way. It says only when you're burdening your spirit too much to look at what it is, you will see no problem seeing the problem, because there is a problem around this energy. It's not going to be easy to decipher how and what and who is going to be bringing up these spirits and why. But it says in the world of God, we don't use this energy. Okay? God knows that God has put the angels there. And God also knows that God has put the angels with the mermaids there too. And any other mini beast or major beast. Little beasts and big beasts. They also have spirits. Okay? These spirits are not tied to any deities. Okay? There's no deity spirit that's a mermaid. If you hear mummy water, it is a laughing matter, because if we say it's a lie, you're all going to go and run to your gods and want to punish somebody. All right. So we're careful about how we use this energy to want to say it's a laughing matter. Ideally, it could be a lie. All right. But we don't want to harm or offend anybody. So what we do know about this spiritual energy is that there's a spirit in all of us, including these beasts. All right, that are used to pertain an energy of protection or goodwill or good karma or good fortune. All right. It's not a mini god. It could be a deity in some way if you worship the energy that spirit holds towards life. All right. That angel spirit in any evil member of your family or any evil member of the times that you said, bloody hell, I need to see what the energies is that they're holding to bring me out or into my mind about what it is that they're trying to tell me. They've been using energies of wildlife for years. Hence why people have prayed to the moon, the stars, and the planets. Okay? We will get into that. It says no one's going to wonder where these energies are going all the time, because people also realize that they're under oath or under karmic situations all the time to bless or curse people with the energies that they see. Now it says when you're dealing with angel spirits, these angel spirits can also show up as mermaids. They can show up as beasts, dragons. They can show up as MILF-like energy in human beings for whatever reason. We'll look into that if we have to. But it says why? Because they're older spirits that do know who they are in the spiritual kingdom that have passed on. These are MILF-like women, and they know who they are that have used the witchcraft in that way. It says MILF can also be types of witches, MILFs. So when you hear the word MILF, don't run like, oh yeah, it's the best thing ever, when you don't really understand the folklore behind the word MILF, okay? MILF can also stand for a witch or a witchcraft woman, all right? Maybe even witches that do spells and they know that they are hags or they're older spirits, okay? They're older women, all right? They may not even be ugly, but they're hagged, like Hag also means I'm old. Okay, I'm an old hag. Okay, I'm old. All right, I'm haggish. I've got like a spirit of war, but I'm old. So it's like it's bouncing off of a nature. You wouldn't understand it until you understand it. It's like go and look it up and look at it in a deeper level. It's a hag, something that's old, but there's old in nature, not just on the surface. Look, I'm old, not just because my liver is damaged or it's old. There's a spiritual attachment to it, and it's called hag. All right, it's deeper than that. Absolutely, even deeper than that, apparently. But it says you will understand one day if you need to, not because you have to, just because you need to if you want to. Okay, the word hag. Write that down for reference if you want to. Okay, but it says only because somebody here doesn't want you to know nothing at all about the spiritual energy. Godlike energy is also there to help you through mermaid spirit. Mermaid spirit is also going to help you through bad mood energy. Energies that come into your mindset about mermaid spirit. It says mermaid spirit is also going to be a part of your essence, okay? Because you all had to swim to get to the land of God. Okay, ideally this land of God, not the spiritual land of God or the physical one where God resides. Okay, because there's a physical and a liberty taking spiritual way of looking at things that can come to your head at times like, well, do I have to be dead to find God? It says it doesn't always have to be that way. You just have to look at it in a different way to understand the perspective, because there's perspectives to life. Okay, so it says right now we're going to see things through the kingdom of God through the mindset of the mermaid. Mermaid spirit does not want you to know that bad news is there. Okay, bad news can come from mermaid spirit, and it can come in a way that is really going to harm someone, hence why they use mammy water or bad news energy in regards to how men see their spirit and why they are used in that folklore. Things that are mentioned online or maybe in stories in Nigeria, Togo, Africa, wherever it comes from. Okay, but it says also, even with the witness protection orders in your mind that have noticed things and seen things around star signs, things that they've noticed in, business structures of the planet, astrology, things that they've looked at to scientific levels, okay? Or in a scientific type of way. It says karma comes to some of these things sometimes because it's not always going to be there for you to understand unless you understand the deepness from where it all started with the people that are looking at it in their perspective. It says karma comes to perspective sometimes. When you don't understand a perspective and you have to see yourself in a perspective, you will go through perspectives to find out what the hell is that? Who is that? What is that? Where am I going with this? Am I in the kingdom of God with this? Or am I in some devil's room with this? Or am I somewhere else? Where the hell am I? I'm in space. Where the hell am I in my head about it? You can get nervous. You could get mad. You could go through punishments. You could go down the wrong road. You could go down some really dark places in your mind. Or you could go into punishment with that too, because you could go into special needs places or even greater avenues where you could get burdened, problematic, or even solve problems because you got good news, but you didn't understand it in a way that you could tell others. It's like it's a very deep-seated issue in Pisces energy. Pisces has all the answers to this energy. It says Pisces understands the evil system more than you know. Okay, it says Pisces and Scorpio, but it says we use Pisces as a way around things, ideally as a map. Pisces is the map, it's the chart of life. Okay, hence why we use it for every star sign. It's the map of life, Pisces. All right, because we all swam here. Ideally, in our mother's womb, we were all kind of like a swimming entity or a swimming version of like what you would say. All right, a fish is swimming, and we all had to be born through the energies of water and a womb, which was almost like the sea. It says karma can come to your mind if you don't understand that, but if you do understand it, you realize we're all fishes. Okay, we're all like fish. We all had to come through the water energy to come through this realm. Hence why there's different avenues of coming through, whether you're a human or whether you're a beast or whether you're some type of alien or whether you're just in the spiritual realm and you don't even know if you exist. Because you can come through like that too, and you don't even know these things, okay? But you can come through in so many different ways and forms, but in a swimming type way. Yeah, in a cocoon or in an egg, or maybe in some other type of fallopian tube type of way. Like, because there's so many different ways and we're not aware of them all through God's nature, all right? Through God's realm, which is the kingdom of God, which is also the godlike realm of angels, which is also the angelic realm of understanding where the hell we all came from. And we just don't know. Only the angels know what God is up to. And God knows what God is up to, not everybody. Okay, but you will see things through the angels and see things through God and understand where the water spirits come from. Okay, because this is water spirit energy. Mermaid spirit energy is water spirit energy. It's also an essence of our beings being water spirited, but also in a way that we are karma because we've got good news and bad news to do with deity. Ideally in a way that we could worship ourselves through this energy, or we could worship some other entity, ideally mermaids in the sea, because we all had to come here through the water. So is it that we're worshipping actual mermaids, or is it that we are the mermaids and we're worshipping each other or some other entity? Because we're all water sign energies in spiritual form. Yeah, like we're all gonna come through in a water type way. There had to be liquid around us to come into this world. There has to be. Nobody didn't come through in a water type way. Okay, through Scorpio. This is why Scorpio is a dangerous star sign to some, but very powerful to many. Okay, Scorpio brought us all here through Pisces energy, then went through to the Cancerian realms where we had to see which way we were going to head in life. Ideally, was we going to come out through the realm of God that said we're humans, or was we going to come out through the, the world of animals or aliens or some other creature? Do you know what I mean? Like, we weren't dry birth. We wasn't dry born into the world. We were wet born. Ideally, we had to come through with some type of liquid essence energy around us. Like, a feeling of wetness we were lubed. Okay? We were all lubricated to come into this world. We had to be. There's no way in. Yeah? Even if you're born into some other dimensions, there's liquid. Hence why the jinns, they can't speak about this smokeless fire business and how they came into the world. Do you know they still had to come in through some type of lube? Yeah, they had to be. It didn't make sense to come into the world dry birth. It doesn't make sense. They might be smokeless fire, okay? But they're still wet. They just don't get burnt. There's a difference. We could go into that in another reading because we haven't done jinns yet, okay? But it says we're all wet, coming into this world. Yeah? We are all wet. Wet Willy, wet Fanny, whatever was wet, it had to come, okay? The sperm is wet. The vagina realm is wet. In the pee-pee holes of the man's private areas and where the sperm comes from, it is wet. There's wetness, water. So why is it that we came through water, and why do we worship water energy? This is where it goes back to water spirit. Not necessarily mermaids, but the water. That's abundance. You see, fish and life and anything that's wet, there's abundance in that. So much wetness has abundance. It doesn't mimic anything but glory. Spiritual energy through the particles of water that you can't even count. There's just way too many. You would never be able to count water. Have you noticed? It's abundant. It's everlasting. It could dry up, but it also appears. Never ceases. We have to have it in everything that we do and in every essence. Water is the answer. We are abundant through water. We will never stop feeling like our abundance is water. Hence why we speak a lot on this channel about water energy being a precious tool of karma to those that don't believe in Scorpio. Scorpio will be the main essence of this platform, by the way. There will be a lot of readings and you'll hear Scorpio. It may not come out on other channels and it might do in some, okay? But Scorpio is the main essence of this channel in God, okay? Through Christ, through Jesus. Hence why Jesus had blessings. Walking on water wasn't the really true blessing if you feel like, all right, are we talking because Jesus made water into wine, or is it because he could walk on water? It's really not. Jesus had to come through the mighty realms of water through his mother's womb. Now there's many powerful essences on why did he come through as a virgin? Where the hell did he come from if he was a virgin? Do you know we can't talk about that right now? We will do so, but we can't mention it today. Okay. Now, it might be somewhere else, maybe even in another reading if we look back, if we can. But it says we can't talk about it right now. Okay. So anytime you want to look at things and bless yourself with lots of water and lots of water creatures and water energy, it's karma, because it's not necessarily the water creature or even the water itself in a way, because God is always in us in abundant forms. However, it says it's deeper than that through Satan's realm, not. And it says back to God again, because God is from Satan. So why do we look at water energy so deeply? Where does it come from? Why is it that water is such an essence in the making of life that it brings forth riches? Okay, it brings riches, it brings announcements of abundance, it brings all kind of great news through life, and it makes us feel like we are worthy of evil mindsets, to punish them or to move on from them. It says there's cloudy waters and there's dark waters, but there's also happy waters, clean, crystal clear waters, blessed waters, nourished waters, abundant waters. These waters are blessed. Why? Because they hold memory. Memory waters. In fact, if you look at life and the water of life and how it can bless you or curse you, there is memory to back up why these waters are so fresh and new and abundant. These waters are bringing our minds to why we love life and why we love God. Hence why if you ever go to church and God says, all right, I take this water and I use it as a symbol of my love to you. Okay, could be wine in church, because some people like to use wine. Well, most churches, they like the wine of God, the blood of Jesus. Okay, but if there's a body of water nearby, okay, it says we're going to use that as an example. Why? Because the energy of water holds so much victory around the mindset of love in the building. It brings forth riches. It brings forth news of God being essenced in our minds. Okay, because we remember the good waters that we bestow and the good waters that we bring to life. Okay? We bring water to life. We bring good news to water and life. We bring good news around water and life. We bring good news in Jesus' name around water and around life. We have to bring good news to water and water around life, or else if we don't, we seize and we dry up and we punish. So if we use things like Mammy Water and we're using it in a bad reference, guess what's going to happen? Bad men, bad women, bad children, bad adults, bad atmosphere, bad mindsets, bad people overall, bad anything really, but bad humans, because we have more control over our minds than any other animal, creature or thing out there, apart from the aliens, because they're also like human in nature. Like, their mindsets have the ability to read, write. They also know other things that we don't know. They know things we don't know. We know things they do know most of the time, but they don't know everything that we know, but they know a lot more than we do in that realm. Okay, alien realm. And it says a lot of these spiritual essences are not going to be easy to decipher how we can look into them, because we have to be careful where we go and what we're doing. Absolutely. But we don't want to say that we are told that we have to have bad news with these essences. Okay, so we're going to look into things very deeply but very structured, in a way that we have karma not anymore in our lives. Okay, because we've got a lot of karma to go through in ways that we don't want to know that we are tread upon if we're looking at certain things. Okay, so karma is there right now with evil spirits that don't want us to know where it's going in their minds. Anywhere it goes in life, anywhere, it could be anywhere around you right now as you speak to yourself or see yourself in your mindset. Everywhere it goes, it says there's karma right now. Why? Because the mind has memory, and already with that memory is water. Water is in the memory of the mind. Water is surrounded around the brain. Water has a memory field inside the brain. Okay, and there's a lot of water, sponge-like energy is in the brain, but it holds a lot of water. Hence why if you ever see a jar and you see a floating brain inside of it, it's that water surrounding the brain that has more memory than the actual brain. Okay, and it says it's not true to some of you that will look at it in that way and like think, what the fuck you talking about? I'm science, like I've, yeah, talk to God about it, love. You would never understand why. Okay, it took for the water to make the brain in the first place, so you can't tell anybody nothing. Yeah, it was the sperms, water essences and shields and things that were going on inside that essence that made the brain. Okay, hence why water can dry up and it will still hold memory. Yeah, it would still hold an essence. The dry land has memory. It doesn't have a strong sense of being the way it could be thrived and live another day through that energy and go off and enjoy life. Oh no, it has to be revived through the energy of moving spirit, water like energy, through fire. Ideally, if the waters are moved, we have heat energy inside those waters that are helping it to move and thrive. It heats up. Okay, it can become low and below freezing. Okay, and cease and become still, but still hold memory. It's a very powerful but nourishing tool to life. Water spirit, water energy, water mermaid energy, water, whatever you want to call it, in your being, in your native, in your essence, in your way of life. But it's water. It's not the mermaid. It's not even the angel that believed in the mermaid spirit. Ideally, like if there was an angel and this angel was daft, stupid angel, which God doesn't make those, all right? But if there was a stupid angel and the angel was like, well, I know I'm an angel spirit, but I believe in mermaids, but God didn't tell me about them. So I'm going to wonder, what's this angel like in their head? No. You don't get it because you're going to understand it in a way that God understands it. God doesn't always understand it in a way that an angel could understand it if an angel was stupid. But there is no stupid angels, you say. There's one or two, hence why they are fallen. Okay? They have to see it in a way that God would see it. Because God says, I know that you're not who you think you are. You're an angel, so you've got water somewhere in your chart, or in your birth sign, or in your being, or you came through a system where there was water. I had to make you that way. I'm not going to be God for no reason and tell you that you didn't come through water to get here. You came through water, even if you're a ghost. And you don't understand why, but I will tell you one day. Yeah, I'm coming through water, and I'm not going to let you know how and where and who and what. But I had to come through water too. Okay? But it says God will never let you know everything until God knows who you are. Or if God allows you to see things, it's because God chose you as a chosen one to let you know certain things through that energy. Okay? We will see things as we move forward in the month of May, later on in the new year. Okay, because it says this year we could have shown you a lot more about the energies of mermaid, but it's closed up now. That room is closed. We would have told you a lot more about where you came from in the months of May, gone. Okay, it says no one knows why angel spirit is so important to some people. Like they are absolutely obsessed with angels, mermaids, demonic realms where there's aliens or maybe other creatures that are just coming out of nowhere, like flying creatures, or maybe they're dragons, or mermaids are on the top list of whoever wants to know, maybe because the government keeps them so secret. But it says these angels are not going to allow you to see everything either, because God says we have to protect our own. Okay, through the angel spirit, we need to protect our own. We can't allow everybody to see everything that's going on in life. All right, we do know who we are. We love you, but we can't let you know everything. I'm sorry. All right, so if this energy is right now closing you off to why we've even started this topic, it says it's not going to be easy to decipher and why and who and where and how and all these other things, because it says right now is not the time to hear about it. It could help you or it could curse you. Which one do you want? And it says it's not going to be easy to find out everything through the angel realm about why it could curse you. Okay? It's just the essence of water is the best thing for you to understand. It's water. If you ever want to know why there's riches in the land, it's water. Water blessed the land and made it rich. If you ever want to know why there's people in the world that are rich, their parents blessed them through their minds, which is the water, holding memory that I am rich. This is why affirmation is so positive. Anytime you give yourself blessings, pour blessings into your cup, pour blessings into your mind, pouring it in. Yeah? Ideally, water again. pouring it in. The words of God coming out of your mouth is also like water particles, hence why your mouth is wet. Yeah, your mind also has water around the brain. Yeah, it's water. It's not no mermaid. Yeah, it could be mermaid spirit in us. Okay, the mermaid spirit in us will help these things, will trial these things, will make these things come to pass, will ideally make you believe that you don't have to worry no more, because it's like, well, I'm a mermaid, or there's a mermaid spirit after me, or protecting me, or guiding me, or helping me, or drowning me. Which one is it? But really and truly, it's you and your ancestors. It's you and your folklore that thinks it's the deity, but really it's your ancestors or someone's bewitching you. Okay, it's nothing but that. So when we have to teach ourselves to worship mermaid spirit, remember who you're worshipping really. If you want to worship the mermaid spirit, worship the godlike energy, okay, in mermaid spirit. It's God, because God made the waters. Do I have to teach you again what I just said? It's God. God made the waters. If you believe in God having a wishy-washy swimming tail, and you want to know that God is bestowing on your life, believe that God is a mermaid. He can be any creature you want him to be, because there's still water from wherever it is that we came from. We didn't all have to swim through your mind to tell you that, because God made those things. God is the wind. God is the earth. Okay? God is the fire. Okay? But God is water, and God was water first. Okay? And it says God will teach you these essences whenever you want to know things. God will teach you. How the hell did we all come and exist through the mindset of this energy? Through water. Let me tell you again, it's water. Water is the essence of life. Without it, we are nothing. We cannot survive without water. We can't live on air alone. We can't live on grass, ideally just food alone, especially dry food. Oh, hell no, we can't just live on dry food. Some people can until they end up dying because it might seize in their liver, or, you know, their gut, or in their, wherever it is in their body. All right. Doesn't take much for you to understand where this heart situation is going. The blood pumped around the body. Why do we need blood? That's also a part of our systematic value system of water energy. It takes for water energy, which is blood-like energy, to be pumped around the body for us to survive and thrive. That's the water system. Yeah, we've got other waters in our body, yes, fluids. But the real water energy is blood. That's water. Now, we are blessed with all kinds of different ways of looking at things through God. We are water. We have water. We bless water in our lives. We have water in our beings. We make sure water is coming into our mindsets. We know that water is everywhere in our lives. It helps us. It gives us good news. We have time to see that blessings will come all the time through water. Water is always going to be the bestest thing ever. No one can take that away from us. Karma comes to certain people that don't understand you. But it's tough titty, as I always say in my personal way of speaking. It's tough titty. Because the angel realm is open for us to see that God wants us to be punished no more. We need to answer our questions. We need to see where the energy fields are coming from to help us out in life, and see how can we move forward for good news. Past the bad news, past the demons that don't want us to know everything. Because there is governments that don't want us to know things. Maybe even preachers and teachers and, you know, absolutely nonsense tarot readers out there. No disrespect to those that do talk a good tarot. Like, they know what they're talking about and they have good information. But there's also a lot of love readings. And you think, well, bloody hell, why am I hearing just love readings for? Everyone's talking about love. And these times, love ain't coming to you, you know. Like, where is it going? Is it just love that's to be spoken? Maybe money gets spoken, and that's a good thing. It's not always bad. Some people will hype it up and tell you some nonsense and say, oh, you're getting rich and you're not getting rich. Or they might give you false information. Sometimes it's not accurate. Okay. Sometimes people might even come to you as a tarot reader and say, oh, I've heard from another tarot reader and she weren't as good as you. Okay. Or he weren't as good as you. Yeah. Or you might even get slewed. You might even get told off and be told, well, bloody hell, you're not as good as my tarot reader. I've got another one and she's better than yours. Or they might just gossip about you behind your back about it. Okay. But either way, it doesn't matter. You just got to move forward and know that you are the kingdom of God, or you know that your angel spirit or your guidance system or your religious family member, or your religious system, or whoever you believe in, whoever's the host that you believe in, even if you're atheist, there's something about you that is holding on to faith, your belief system. You have an angel-like spirit around it, regardless of your belief or not. You can't say that you don't, because you don't know where you came from. There's a spiritual system around it, okay? And it's holding you down to the angels, or holding you down to the enemies, okay? Holding you down to the good, holding you down to the bad, holding you down to the kingdom of God, holding you down to Satan's realm, which is karma, all right? Karma is there. Bad news is there. Bad news karma is there. Now, when we see good news come to you, allow it to come to you through prosper, through the mindset of prosper, because prosper will come to you in your mind. If you ever want to know why, you have to look at mermaid spirit in the way that water sign energy is there for people that want to get rich, because it says karma's come into that energy as well. Like, people feel like they get riches through the karmic value system of mermaids. Okay, there's something about mermaids that will bring you riches. Oh no, honey. There we go again, back to square one. It's not the mermaid. It's the mermaid in you, or it's the mermaid in your ancestors, or it's the mermaid of God, okay, if you look at them as mermaids. It's the mermaid essence if you feel like you're a mermaid and you feel like you came into this land swimming here or laughing at the situation because you believe in an animal underneath the sea. That is a mermaid, by the way, but they brought you riches. There was no such animal down there bringing you riches. That animal is not praying for you. Yeah, that siren, that mermaid energy down there, that physical creature, angel spirited, like affirmated mindset of a being down there. And we say this with not so bad words, but that angel spirit down there is not your friend. They don't know you. They don't wish upon the humans to have success even in life. Like, you may know something the government knows if you do, okay? Because you see those angels down there? They're angels, by the way. They are mermaids, but they're angels. They don't wish for human success. They're not wishing that humans would have success. They wonder sometimes what's on the earth surface. And they wonder, where is it going with human life up there? Like, anything that's walking around on human legs up there, they wonder. Hell yeah, they wonder all the time. Hence why we've got Little Mermaid wondering what's up on land and why the Little Mermaid couldn't walk. We know why we had to put those energies out in films, and also why ships were sinking and other things that were going on in the world, okay? Why there's mermaid statues and all these other different kind of things that relate to mermaids, all right? But it says all these angel spirits don't really realize it, but they are not thinking about the world in that way. They're wondering what goes on under the sea and what they can eat. They're hungry. If you notice, wildlife is hungry. They just look for food. Do you know that we look for food, but we look for it in a way that we buy clothes, we buy shoes, we buy houses, we buy buildings, we buy cars. We're dreamers. We live large. We live big. We live randomly nice and happy and absolutely intentionally happy and nice and very, very good. They don't do that down in the waters. Do you ever wonder why even? This is a subject for another day. This is going to take forever. They don't wonder why, because you see those type of creatures, or even the ones on land, and we see creatures on land and they're just looking for food, like ducks, birds, even like spirits like dogs, cats, and other spirits. Like, these spirits are angel spirits, but they're not there to look for things for you and I. They look for themselves, and they don't just look for themselves. They look for special beings that are going to take care of their mindsets with this. Even the creatures down in the sea, the angels down in the sea, okay, they don't necessarily want to know that they are harmed, but they will harm you because they don't know any better. And if there is any intelligent mermaid down there, please come up and talk to us, because we would love to hear from you. La da 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 da. And if there is any in the government system and they've taught them how to talk and trained them up, this is why they know how to say anything and can bless you. They can't bless you in any other way. God didn't give them dominion over their brain to know how to do anything but survive. They are surviving beings. They're surviving creatures. They are survivors. They just eat, shit, sleep, and then they wake up looking for the same thing all over again. And it says some of them might have a little local intelligence from people that have helped them to learn other tricks and trades of their mind. If they have got the capacity in their brain to do so, they have learnt things through sight, not necessarily, unless they are mimickers, because some animals can be mimickers, like birds, they can talk, right? But if there's any angel being down in that sea, and any angel mermaids down in that sea that have learnt anything, it's through watching us as human beings. We're the only ones that can do this. We're the only ones that can talk and laugh and run and play and be giddy and, can see into insights and challenge things and look at things and warning. We are the ones that can do this more than any other angel. In fact, the angel realm is filled with angels that are more majestic than us, that can do all the things that we can do as humans, all right? But they're not all as intelligent even as the human psyche. Do you know how important the human psyche is? The human cycle of life even is. The angel room where ghosts are, in fact. And maybe even where the ghosts are going with jinn, with aliens and other spiritual creatures of the world. It's like you can't believe everything, but you are taught to fly. You can't fly. Birds can fly. They have the intelligence to do so because they have the wings, okay? Angels can fly because they have the intelligence to do so because they also have the wings. Ghosts can even fly because they can't stabilize their body through gravity. Aye. They don't have any essence in them to weigh them down. They don't have any physical shell to weigh them down. Okay, so they float. They float about. They don't have anything that's weighing down on them to keep them down. Gravity pulls them upwards and upwards and upwards. Why? Because they just are spirited. They're air. They're like air creatures. In jinn, sometimes, that energy can be there, but that's more so if they're not physical, because there is ideally jinns that can fly through spiritual energy because they are transparent, and they can turn transparent for some of them. But also with jinn energy, they can't fly unless they ain't in their transparent mode. That's another discussion for another day. That's another topic for another day, okay? It doesn't say that we could sponsor everything today either. In fact, it's not worth it, because we want to tell you a lot more than we can at this time. It's not easy. There's things going on behind the scenes. Now, there's many times over a dark-spirited energy that could be falling in the mind of yours today, even if it could be another day that you see this reading, all right, for some of you guys. But it says, why? Right now, there's an energy that will not want you to know everything the way you know things, because they are the government and they don't want you to say everything that's going to come out and harm them. Maybe even solve a problem for yourself. And it says, even if you're going to solve it for yourself, do so privately, or just do it anyway, because you can't speak about everything and then they know that you're so super smart. Yeah, or that intelligence beyond your control, because something, you have an ability to read into things, to see into things, or to hear things, and then you can transpire them and relay it back to someone else. It doesn't say it's going to help you in life either, but you do know that you can work on these things and brilliantly give yourself good news with whatever it is that ideally through books, through channels, like ideally if you've got a YouTube channel and you want to talk about it on there and preach and talk and whatever. Okay, or you could put it through like folklore energy in a way that you could word it because you understand angels or you understand the spiritual world. Ideally, like YouTube again, or some type of documentary. All right, but you don't have to speak about it at all. So allow yourself to give yourself good news if you've heard some stuff and you know how to decipher it and pick on it and give yourself good news in that realm. But karma comes to you in any other way, and it says if this laughing world was to tell you off, you could write it in a book or put it in some cards or in other ways, but it can't give you everything. All right, So when it comes to warning yourself about mermaids, try and wonder why a mermaid spirit is blessing you and not cursing you. Because it has cursed you a lot. For some of you guys that don't realize it, through the mindset of men. I'm going to use that very, very lightly right now because not everybody agrees, okay? But if you notice with men and the word mummy water, the folklore one, that one, it's very much rampant on the spiritual energies that are there. There is men that are being troubled by water spirits. That could be mammy water. If it's not mammy water, it's just a water spirit that has curses upon the men. Men-like energy is going to be cursed through spiritual energy. Okay, they follow demonic realms at times, men. So if they do want to know that money over bitches, so to speak, are there, they are following waters that are leading them down that path. Okay, that stream of water is dark. They are sipping on that dark spirited water. You know, maybe it's that gin and juice, maybe it's that brown liquor. Yeah, metaphorically speaking, because what it is their mindsets like dark news. They like to know that they can be inferior to God or more powerful or more majestic than God. At times they want to be absolutely like Satan, where Satan is not God, but Satan can be inferior to God at times where it spooks God for what he has created. It's like, what kind of demon did I create? What kind of monster did I birth into the world or into life or into the spiritual realms? Now, God can be also nasty and demonic, but not through man's energy coming out. You see, when God says, I'm going to be nasty, the whole world will come down. You're not going to know me. I'm not going to tell you who I am, but I'll let you see me through my energy, which is God. You're not going to ever hear that I'm there punishing you at times, but I can. I can. And when I did do this through Noah, maybe even through Moses, yeah, maybe through the burning bush, yeah, but at the same time through Noah's ark, that also made a flood appear out of nowhere and seized the land. Karma came to the land. That was a one-off lifetime story that does not exist to some people's head, because where were you? Not thought of, not even felt like you could even inform another person of, do you know what's coming? This could happen again. Like, some of us was born around the pandemic and never saw it. Okay, ideally little kids that were born and was like, what the hell was that? I was born in it, I didn't even see it. Okay, some people died before they got to see that. Okay, some people are dying while they were in it and didn't get to see it, or didn't experience it on a level that could have shocked certain people. Okay, hence why there's plagues and there's other things that happen in life and we're like, bloody hell, did that happen? Okay, so many different myths come about, or things that are true, but it's like we didn't get to see it, so we call it a myth. All right, these are the things that happen in life, and you're like, well, bloody hell, how did that happen? Well, it just does. Some things do come about and you don't hear everything about it, but God knows mermaid spirits come about and you didn't hear about it, but they were seen and they were heard. Yeah, making their little noises like, oh, and whatever it is that they make, you know, ooh, or whatever it is, however you hear them or you've seen them before, because they still live amongst us. They're in the waters. They do come up sometimes, okay? People have spotted them around the world. Very much so. In Brazil right now, there's mermaids. Just to let you know. Brazil and Kenya. Oh my goodness. Maybe Jamaica a little bit. But Brazil, Kenya, some offshore places as well that they just sit. Like, they could come up and they will sit there for hours on the rocks. Maybe even on a sledge type place if there's any type of ornamentary place. Like, you know, buildings have placed certain like surfaces, but not many of them are known to the human eye. Why? Because these could be old monumentary buildings. There could be also newer buildings, but plaguing your mind is the government saying, no, I know where these creatures are. You're not allowed to come to this area. It's a private island, or it's a private area. Yeah, it's area 57, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to know. You're just not going to know. And then there's places like in space where angel realms are. Ideally, you could go to another planet and there's mermaids there too. There is actually mermaids in other planets too. Don't ever get twisted. There's mermaids everywhere, just like aliens. Okay, aliens could also be amongst us too. We don't know how much shapeshifting happens. We don't know how much shared energy as well is given to us through the government. And we don't know if we're going to see any directly, because sometimes they can come in hidden form, or they can come by really fast, or they can even show us their energy and disappear, but we don't even notice. Okay, but it says sometimes you may even see shape-shifting energy in humans, and you may not wonder why or who or what is happening. But it says mermaid energy is always going to be among us. Why? Because they are living creatures of the land and the sea, in a way that they can come up for air, they can sit down, they can see the sea, they can see the land, they can understand how much they can breathe underneath it, or be, in their mind about it. Hence why dolphins can stay up for air for a long time. We've also got the seals as well. Many of times you can see whales that can do this stuff too. All right. They don't do it as well as the dolphins and of the sea lions. Okay. Penguins, yes, we can bring them into it too if we had to. But it says there's a lot of creatures that are good underwater and good on the land. And they can stay down in the sea for hours, as well as on the land for hours too. Just like mermaids. Okay. Or sirens. All right. So where we go in life to see them is hard. Sometimes we might see them in a group swimming somewhere overseas, or maybe even in pictures or videos online, but we can see them in real time as well if we know where to go to see them, or if we locate our minds around the fact that we're staying there for hours until we see this bloody bitch. No disrespect. We're going to wait there until we see this creature. Okay. We're going to wait, and we're going to try and see this animal. Yeah. This so-called mermaid. Where is it? And then we frig ourselves up by seeing something that we shouldn't have seen, because there's something so majestic about this creature that would blind our minds and torment us, because we think, well, bloody hell, wait, what if it comes to get us? What if it eats us alive? Because this one is dangerous, or it looks different. It's not the same as a bloody sea lion. It's different, So we've got karma with this. And we've got to take our time to look at it very carefully through the government's mindset and the government's realm and other realms that could let you know it is dangerous. Be careful. So when you want to understand things for the first time, or even for a second time or a third time, just understand it's not always easy to decipher what's going on. It's not always going to be easy to see or look at things, or even practice in your mind all the time. Being good to yourself is something that we do want to know is going on. It may not happen all the time though, and it might happen sometimes too. Okay, but it doesn't always have to happen. All right, but it will make you think what's going on in your mindset at times. Okay, so it's not always going to be something that you have to practice and look at. All right, because there is things that are going on in the system that don't want you to see everything, so you don't go looking for it, because you could be harmed, you could be hurt, and you could hurt others. All right, this is where it gets illegal for us to go down so deep into rooms where we're practicing witchcraft, and then you're calling on these spirits to come. Yeah, and then they start jumping out the seas because their mind is tormented. Yeah, say you saw a mermaid, or you didn't even see the mermaid yet, but the mermaid's in there, and you're waiting for this mermaid to come out, but you're doing witchcraft on that mermaid's mind to come out and get somebody, or come out and get your mind even. And that thing starts coming on land and trying to look for people and start tormenting them. You are in trouble. Yeah, you didn't know how dangerous it was. It's very dangerous. Doesn't need to be played with. These creatures are wild. Don't play with them. They have forces beyond your control. They're very strong creatures. Okay, mermaids have power. They are very strong. They can swim seas. Think about it. They don't have human strength. They're about the strength of 10 men. 10 heavy set weight men that do gym workouts on a regular basis. They have 10 and 20 strength of these men for swimming in those seas and lasting so long underneath those currents and those waters. And listen, these things are dangerous. You cannot mess with mermaids. Yeah, they will break your toe. They will break your pinky toe. Yeah, they will break your fingernail. They will break the hair on your head, and it can't even hurt. Yeah, they can harm you. All right, they can squash you at a glance. They are very demonic spirits as well, like in a way that it's like they don't mean to be mad at you. They don't even mean to be mean to you or nasty. They just are, because they are wildlife. Which wildlife do you know is gentle and majestic without any human caressing it and letting it know it's okay? Yeah? You have to raise these creatures as well. Which mermaid have you seen has been raised? Apart from the government's top secrets, however it comes, okay? If we hear about it, we hear about it. If we don't, we don't. But you don't get to hear about these things. So if there is a raised mermaid, how will we know? And then it has to be taught how to be kind and gentle. Because only we have the capacity to do that as humans. So be smart, be brave. At the same time, don't call on these things unless you're going to listen to the government's torture. Just try to understand we are protected for a reason. Through God's realm, through the gentle realm of the angels, through the government's realm at times. Not all the time, but sometimes. And a lot of it is to do with the government realm that had to look into these things as a government body through the angels' realms that love life and want to know that they can help us. Okay? You are all going to be harmed one day if you're not careful about how you look at things. But you have to be careful about where you look at things and how you get information and where it comes from. All right? Even with snakes and dragons and some things, like dragons may not exist anymore. All right? But that's a realm on its own to not mess with. That's another reason for angels to look at with you in a way that you've got karmic energy. All right? Could be good or bad or evil. All right? We'll look at that another day, the dragons, if you want. But we have to understand where it's going in your mind and help you out of the rut that you've been placed in. For some of you that are like, what the hell is this? Yeah, or you think it's going to bring you some good luck or whatever. It's a mind game. People only let you know what they know through their mind. Tragically, it can harm some people if they don't realize where it comes from. Because they don't have the mindset, like Pisces would say, like, I can look into all different perspectives and understand where they're going with this. Like, you don't all have that capacity, so you could get harmed. So you have to be mindful about what it is you're doing and be careful who you're tapping into as a deity, as those energies of God, but it's not of God if you don't know why the person's conjured it up in their head in that way, through their ancestors, through folklore, through God's energy, and why God gave them specifically that message in their head to look at it in that shape, way, or form. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody should be subjected to the ways of life of other people pressing on them through their spell work, their mental health, or their warlock energy, their monitoring spiritual side, their demon side on them. Okay? Because anybody could have a demon side, but it's the way you press on people with that demon side that matters. Because it's dangerous. Okay? So we're going to leave it here in regards to the mermaid-like spirit because it's accounted for. It's been called upon you for a reason. It's been answered. It's been looked at. But just remember, all water can be looked at as good and bad. And that's where it comes from. It's water spirit. It's the water energy. It's the essence of water. It's not necessarily the mermaid, but it's the mermaid in you that has preached into the life of another spiritual energy and given it good news or bad news. Okay? And that's the same with any other water energy in the life of you or angels, ideally angels spirit, but we're talking about the ones ordained from God, the ones that reside next to God, because God has a majestic way of being just like yours. That's why we are in the image of God and the angels, okay? Because they're not demonic in a way that they could be nasty, like, barren creatures, maybe even creatures that can give birth, right? But they're not going to be barren because they are bored of life. They're barren because they've been taught they're not allowed to have no more kids. Okay, hence why we see creatures that are dried out of land now, like they go extinct. They go extinct for a reason. God knows why they go extinct. These barren creatures, they know why they're extinct as well. They're too bad to stay on life, or maybe their spirit is bad, or God says, you know what, no more of you. We see why. God knows. We can't speak of it all, but we will let you know how and when and who and what and why. All right? God also realized angels can become barren sometimes too. Not the same type of angel though. God has all different kind of angels in the sea and on land and in the spiritual realms of God where God is. Every angel can become barren in some type of way. It says not all angels in God's kingdom though. Let's not ever get it twisted. But God knows where these angels are in spiritual energies. Okay. So be good to yourself and love yourself. Give yourself heaven sent love. Like, your heavenly realms are open to love. Okay, don't ever think that there's bad news anywhere around you. It will always be good news. And it has karmic value systems there for you to see into, or leave your mind to wonder what's going on. How can you upset the day, or maybe give yourself a better day or a better night or a better whatever it is. Okay, it says you've got to laugh at anything that happens to you in the days or the weeks ahead if it's bad news, because people want to set out to give you good news or bad news all the time through deity energy. And deity energy is just a symbolic measure of God, but through Satan's realm most of the time when they want to harm you, or through God's like realm, but it's like they have to use another essence to protect their mind on what it is that they're seeing through God's energy, again, by the way, because they didn't really understand it in a way that God could say it, or maybe God said it but they had to bring it into their mindset through an animal, an ancestor, or some other way to understand it, because they're still working on who's God. Okay, it's very important that we understand everything comes from God, but not everybody can understand that. Yeah, the moon, the stars, the planet, if you're worshipping it, it's still God. Yeah, if there's some other creature out there and it's maroon energy, okay, that's another one that we have to speak about with folklore, maroon energy, because that keeps coming up too. Yeah, we have to understand it through God. So we'll speak about it another day. Through the karmic value system of God, not bad news can come, but good news will be there all the time, and blessings can be there too, through Jesus, through God, through animal realms, through entities that could come into your mind and tell you that you've got great news overall in your love life, or in your family, or through your vagina realm, or through your penis realm, or through whatever realm brings life, and it's filled with sperm, it's filled with spunk, it's filled with fantasy, it's filled with water-like energy, creature-like energy, all this blessings. Okay, it's absolutely great news. Karma could come, but not that bad news if we understand why the essence of God is bestowed upon it with God's realm that likes that energy. So I'm going to leave it there, my lovelies, and I'm going to speak to you in your next reading. Ciao for now. Bye.